Hello, 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 my lovelies. I am going to read on Ivana, not Ivanka, but Ivana Trump. This was a request, and I always kind of did want to just check in with her. She's kind of a character. She is a Pisces. Her birthday is February 20th, but in looking at her chart, and I have a basic kind of a little bit more, but not so much past, kind of a advanced novice, I guess would be a good way to put my understanding of some astrology. Now, she has a moon that is also kind of at the cusp of Sagittarius and Scorpio. So she's kind of an interesting person, I think. And she's right at the cusp on her sun as well. It's very close between Aquarius and Pisces. It's like a degree or something like that. I'm looking at it very quickly. And her Mars is in, I think, Pisces as well. So she can be a little passive aggressive. Or she can go from one extreme to another. I think she's a complicated lady. But I have a lot of questions I want to ask, and I know a lot of people were just kind of curious too, those of us that are interested more in the psychology of it all. Donald says that he left the children to be raised by his wife at the time, which was Ivana, and some people were asking, or at least one reader was asking, I'm a reader, they're a viewer, okay, let's get this right. A viewer was asking, with this situation that she was the one that was supposed to have raised them, what happened? What happened with these kids? How did they end up becoming so similar to their father? And that begs us to look at Ivana. What kind of a person is Ivana with these children, and that their father has had. I think, truthfully, Ivana has deferred, is my guess. But because of money, and she got one heck of a. I just remember when she divorced Trump, she was like, "Get it all, darling," like Zsa Zsa Gabor. And she looked pretty good at the time. Now she looks real rough. She's gotten way too much plastic surgery, and time has not been kind. I don't mean to be cruel. I have no interest. But observation. It's kind of sad. It really, despite the awfulness of what this family has done, if we just take that for a minute and suspend it, geez, what a pathetic bunch. Anyway, okay. We're done suspending that. They've done awful things that have caused the deaths of many people. This is a fact. Because they've all been on it together. And Ivana is, I think, my feeling gut-wise. Like when I see in the past her pictures in Saint-Tropez, she looks like she's still trying to maintain a look of a younger woman, and it looks pretty rough on her. Not like she should dress. I gotta straighten out my card deck, so forgive me while I chit chat. Let me just straighten out my deck, because it got all screwed up, or squirreled up, whichever you prefer. Again, I need caffeination. My cat had me up early this morning and was up on my head. So you'll have to excuse me today. I'm a little bit off. A little bit loopy, but not in a bad way. So anyway, back to what I was saying. I think my gut level says she lived her life deferring to Donald until she was replaced with a younger model. who ended up having to get pregnant. I don't think Trump wanted to marry Marla Maples. I think he just I think Marla got him by the short and curlies. I don't know why she wanted to marry him, but I guess because she was under the impression that somehow it would benefit her financially. She can't be too smart either. So the type of women he picks are the trophy women that want to be women that want to be trophy wives, that are content with being trophy wives. And Ivana is no different. The only thing for her is that in that agreement, she got replaced. That's what happens when you marry somebody like that. Okay. So let's take a look at Ivana. And for the moment, I want to look at why these children ended up, and I'm talking about the top three that are most involved in Trump's business, which, as we all exhaustingly know, is Ivanka and Tweedledee and Tweedledum, Donnie Jr. and Eric. So how did these kids end up getting to be so much like Trump if Ivana raised them? We're going to have just a chill fest where we ask questions here. And I might do a couple of different videos because I feel like I got to kind of take it easy today. I have my had my wound back, well, not wound back, my wound appointment yesterday, and I'm just they put new stuff inside the wound to heal, so it's funny, the next day I start to feel my body trying to heal and I get really tired. So I'm just going to take this a very simple reading today, and we'll just take our time and look at the see if we can look at the psychological part of this family. It's just kind of interesting and strange. Okay. Ivana. Now, she was born in Czechoslovakia. He likes the Eastern European women. Many of them, let me tell you, because I have my mother's Eastern European woman, she's Latvian. That's Latvian. And a lot of these smaller countries, you need to know a little bit about the culture. Now, the women tend to really care about their appearance. Latvian women care about their appearance, but they're much more down to earth. They're not walking around on cobblestones in 6-inch heels. Russian women will do that. And it's not, I'm not dissing Russian women. It's just a difference. They are very, very careful about their appearance. The men tend to run. It is very masculine, macho, machismo, still kind of a world in Eastern Europe where men still, you think that it's bad in America, but it's even more sexist in Eastern European countries. I'm just going to tell you. And that's not everyone. I don't want to generalize with a broad brush, but generally there's a lot that have that mentality. How do I know this? I have family in Eastern Europe, and my mother goes to visit, and we talk. And I talk to my family also. But my mother and I have been the one to talk about what she noticed in going over. So let's look at Ivanka. Not Ivanka. See? Ivana. Why are these kids so screwed up, Ivana? What happened? So I'm asking my ancestors, the spirit of the tarot and the creator, to help me to understand and relay this truthfully and accurately, because I'm only human, and as a human vessel I can make mistakes, but I'll do my best. why did these kids, the Trump children, end up being so like Donald? Okay, well, the first answer comes with a card of the Nine of Pentacles, and we're talking about this ambition for independent wealth and power. And especially, this card is indicative of a very nice lifestyle. But usually, it means you worked hard for it. It's yours. And you can feel good about it. To me, this is the facade and the lie that they live, because they cheat. They don't make an effort to do things right, to do things the honest way. So this is why. It's about money and it's about power independently. And these kids each want that, are very ambitious, and they thirst for wealth, lifestyle, and excelling. Now, I think Ivana had that as a trait and has that as a trait. And that's part of the reason why she married Trump and why these other women, Marla and Melania, same type. He's got a type. The only difference was that Marla was an American and Marla didn't stick around. But I want to look at that. Did she decide or he decide? Gotta put my warming plate to keep my coffee warm for my cup. Let's see. Okay, so there's the Three of Wands with this. This is the message they were given as children. This is the to succeed. I think both parents is what I'm getting. Both Ivana and Donald instilled this in the three children they had together. That this is what you do. Because Ivana also was active in the business and in running, I believe, one of the hotels or businesses. I don't know personally how well she did that. I'm curious. I have so many questions. Was she a better business person than Trump? Did he get rid of her? And was that part of the reason why somebody else appealed more to him? I think she was aging, and that was also part of it. And we know he's very superficial and very much a chauvinist. But I get that the children ended up the way they did because I feel that both parents gave them this message of ambition, but they didn't teach them, unfortunately, how to be honest about it. So they have this great thirst and ambition for power and wealth and success. But look at the fighting with the Five of Wands. Great deal of competition in that family. I actually, okay. Page of Swords. Ooh. Well, this feels like somebody that is a feeling of shoots first, ask questions later. Very knee-jerk response. I see a meanness as well. There's a mean-spiritedness here and opposition. I feel like this is actually Trump not liking also her succeed or try to succeed in business, to do well, or to even appear like she's doing well. Right here. Again, I get something maybe about real estate or assets, places they own. And I really feel like as she started to come up in running the business, I don't think Trump liked it. I think it threatened him. I feel like there was fighting. And I feel like, now I realize that we're asking why these kids ended up. I think they saw this between their parents. This thing where there's naked ambition and also competitiveness to the point of cheating or being willing to bend the rules. So I think it shows that Ivana was also somebody willing to bend the rules, a very thirsty, ambitious person, a very driven person. I think it shows the, competition in that family with each other, no less. And I don't think that Trump liked it. I think he found it threatening, and thus began the troubles. But she always, I get that Ivana always had ambition. She's just that kind of person, and wanted to be high profile, wanted to have the cushy life. Again, he picks women that like a lifestyle. The difference for her, I think, is that she wanted it for herself. She wasn't content just to let Donald have it. And I think as a result, their children saw both Donald and Ivana having a very great thirst for success at any cost. I believe they saw a lot of fighting between their parents. And the parents end up, I think, competing against each other. I also think these kids compete against each other. Was a highly competitive home. And at the end of the day, I really think Trump didn't like Ivana getting some attention business-wise. I don't think Ivana was necessarily honest either in her dealing with business. But I see disagreements. I see disagreements happening. And disagreements, I think, also I'm getting in their marriage to do with business, her ideas versus his ideas. And it becoming heated. I don't think that Ivana caved in like Melania just gives him his. And Melania doesn't fight him. I think she just takes what she wants out of that relationship and keeps her distance. I think Ivana far more vocal and standing up to him. I think there was also more physical, potentially violence behind closed doors in that home. And not just after he had the botched surgery on his scalp, or the scalp surgery that was so painful that he ended up taking it out on Ivana for recommending the surgeon. And that's when he was pulling out tufts of her hair, allegedly raped her. And here we get the Hierophant, which is talking about tradition and teaching. I wonder if there was also, oops, we have a little bit of fluff there, a little bit of string. I also wonder if I wish I could make this zoom. One day I'll figure out a camera that can, I'll figure it out. Oh, hey, there's my butt. Okay. I was just trying to see, I'm sorry if that is making any unpleasant noise. Okay, well, okay. So here we get traditionalism, we get teaching, and I think about money and about business. And I think maybe some of the problem that ended up coming up between her and her husband, Donald, with these, and the children was it something that she was teaching the children? Maybe a difference in business that he didn't agree with. I see a lot of quarreling. Quarreling really comes in. And that's the end of their marriage. Right here. Hierophant can also indicate like tradition of like marriage, and there's a defensiveness. Look at this card with the 5 above it and the 7 of Wands. I get that there was a lot of, I'm feeling like almost competition between her and Donald about giving advice and instruction to these children. That would have really pissed him off. There is secret, though. Hold that thought. I have got to get something I just forgot and left in the other room. I'll be right back. Wow, there is a lot of conflict. Look at this. Wow. I'm going to see if I can lower this. I'm just going to put this on pause again. Okay, I think that's a little better. So we see there's a lot of contention and just arguing, conflict, and it gets mean as well. This card is like bad temper, short temper, sudden action that can be knee-jerk type of thing. I think these kids, from the look of it, had 2 parents that were competing against each other. Believe it or don't. And I strongly, strongly feel like the minute Ivanka started becoming more than just somebody that he could tell what to do and to take care of something, and she started thinking independently for herself with regard to what they should do with businesses, I see, whoa, whoa, whoa. For Trump, I feel like this was a problem. She was looking to also expand, wanting her children to have a greater, I think, world view, because she's not from the United States. And the children she did raise them to speak Slovenian. I'm sorry, that was Melania with Baron. But I also understand that the oldest children, that, Ivanka and her brothers, can speak Czechoslovakian. So I feel like there was competition between Trump and Ivana about what they were teaching their children or how to go about doing business, and it gets very, very competitive between the parents of instruction about how to become independent and wealthy and live a good lifestyle. There's more tradition, or maybe it's the difference of traditions of her background versus Trump's background coming into play, what they were both each individually taught. I believe, Trump was taught by his dad, who was not an honest man, to say the least. I don't know that much about Ivana's parents, but I just see that whatever she had in mind as far as business went, I think it rubbed Trump the wrong way. And he wanted these kids, I don't care that he says that he gave her them to raise. I think at the end of the day, he fought very hard to instill in them the mindset that they have. They are, in my opinion, more like their father than her. She's kind of gone away, taken the money, and gone away and been quiet after she got what she wanted. But she's no shrinking violet. Melania, I think, is a lot more subservient. She just doesn't, I don't think, until Trump upsets her personally, bothers with him. And I see Ivana was very much more into the day-to-day affairs and business. And I don't think he liked that. And I think he didn't want his children. I see competition between the two parents of instilling their values. And that ended their marriage. And not just that. I mean, I think it was the death knell. I think as she grew to become more involved and I think confident and thinking for herself in the business that they had as a couple, I don't think Donald liked that couple aspect with the business. He was supposed to be the big cheese. I see just a lot of quarreling. I don't think Ivana let it go. That's really what I'm wanting to say. I don't think she let things go with him the way that Marla, Olivier, and Melania have been willing to do. And this has had an effect on those children. On Ivanka, who is very much more like her father. I'd say the only similarity, but I can look toward her mother that I'm picking up at this moment, is more about her using her looks, and she has a thirst, although similar to her mother, for independent wealth and power. And of course Trump has that too, but he's not a woman. So I'm saying that I think Ivanka has taken after her mother Ivana in that respect, but is more like her father in a domineering way. I think both parents were domineering, if you want to know the truth from what I see here. But I think Trump won out at the end of the day in that way, and she was willing to take money and go and be quiet. But if you can remember, if you're old enough to remember, I remember her in that divorce being pretty contentious and her saying, get everything. So she was much more in your face. Melania is more quiet. Now, I know you didn't ask me to compare, but it's just what's coming up. I'm just getting to know Ivana's energy. She's much more, much less subservient. I think Melania is not entirely subservient in her own way. I think as long as it doesn't affect personally what she wants, she's willing to go along with it. But I think that Ivana was not so easygoing in that respect. I think she had an opinion, definitely. And I don't think Trump appreciated it. Definitely. I think they also argued about how the children would be raised. I think there were conflicting opinions about that. Now, when we go on to this second line of the Hierophant, Death, the Seven of Wands, and the High Priestess, I'm getting, again, that sense of there's an end of a tradition, there's an end, a radical change where tradition is concerned. And connected to personal wealth and power. I think this is the divorce and Trump not liking her involvement that way in business and I just think he felt that she was just too in his business. And too in his business, literally, and in what he felt should be taught, I think, to the children. Then we see her go defense after that divorce, that radical change. I think she was angry, and she certainly was. But she also had secrets, and I think she used it as leverage to get the settlement that she got out of Trump. Definitely. She threatened coming out with something. Probably things that, she knew that he had done or were going on business-wise. That's my feeling. Here we get the Wheel of Fortune, indicate time, change, movement. There is personal responsibility for I feel like how these children were raised in the past, what she and he taught them, that shows up as a karmic responsibility and lesson. She's going to go, I think she's going to kind of die lonely. There's a feeling here. And there's anger. I feel like there's anger. Ooh. But there's also something here that's getting looked at on a deeper level of past responsibility. A new energy, a new phase. And I feel like this is Ivana feeling lonely as she ages on her own. And also because what is happening, and this is the future position, okay? This last one for me. This is the now, the past. But I also get a general story out of it all together. And I feel like this shows this final line, the progression of time and change, where how one has behaved, what one has done, comes home to roost. This is the old comes home to roost card. And that can be a positive if you've tried to handle something well. But where you've got all this conflict and ending and no regard for, I think, doing things in an honest way. It's not just being a nonconformist, but it's just not, no regard to the rules, no regard for the law. Definitely here. They haven't been held really firmly to account ever. The closest was when Trump and his dad got in trouble in the 70s for the black folks that they wouldn't, rent to for discrimination because they're jerks. There's still something here that may come out in the future, because when I look at this vertically, I see sudden information or sudden activity that has an edge to it and is the high priestess. It's something that has been veiled, maybe for many years even. And this is a new energy that comes in with regard to it. Let me get back to it. Here we see the arguing, the fighting, and I think at times physical. Definitely. I see also, I'm being shown Ivana as somebody who was defending herself. I think he was physically abusive. We know that from the allegation that she made, but I don't think that was the only time. I think she ended up feeling that Trump ended up having more control and influence over his children than what she wanted to convey to her children or instill in them. I do see that. I also feel that she's felt very alone, very kind of out of orbit. Like there's the family that she was part of for so many years, and she's just kind of out there kind of, I don't know how often she sees her children or is interactive. That's another question I have. But I still see her very defensive, very angry about being divorced and being on her own. She can't accept that she's still not part of that Trump family. And you see it in the comments that she makes every so often publicly, and the activity that she does, where she's trying to say that she's the real first lady, or whatever her ridiculousness is. She can't accept that she's not still, that isn't her family. So she hasn't accepted that. Still, she's still very defensive and very angry. And that's why, she's very jealous of these women. I see that too. And I see her on her own a lot with the hermit. I don't think those kids, because there's a lot of fighting that can come up, potentially. She might bring up arguments, or it just goes in a negative direction. I don't think those kids honestly visit her, connect with her a whole lot. This could be, as stuff comes down the poop chute, as it's now beginning to with Trump, and as she sees, I think, the change occurring in his power, I think it's possible she might try to, where her children are concerned, try to come back into a place of advice, of giving them advice, or try to reconnect, maybe even. I feel like she feels like Trump kind of took those kids away from her, that she was the one that was looking after them, and of course their nannies. But I see that Ivana is bitter, lonely, angry. I think she will possibly make public comments with regard to the mess that her former husband is in, and her children. I think she will try to come back into their lives as things are ending. And I think she might become more vocal in the media about it. I'm shown, again, that I feel something that has been traditional wealth, we know that they're not really wealthy, but this lifestyle and this facade of being that is challenged, finally, and poked, I think, holes, so that I think she might end up coming out in the defense of maybe even Donald and her family, or trying to be defensive in some way, because she's recognizing that it's the thing that she had identified with as success for herself, as being his wife, and as her family, the thing that she's clung to for her, who she is threatened. More than threatened, it's ending. And she's going to try to defend it. Because I think if you want to see a bigger shit show, pardon my language, but I think we're going to see one. I think she'll pop her head into this a little bit here and there, as this derailment of their family's facade of wealth and power continues to erode. And the truth comes out more about their past and present, behavior. Being held to account, comes back home to roost. And I don't think she's going to feel like she can do a whole lot to help them. And that's going to be very frustrating for her. Let's read vertically, the second row. So here's the idea of expansion, of possibly even overseas. It's also, for me, communication going over, I feel like, the internet, news, death, and the judgment, that the old card of you being held to account for past behavior, or past behavior comes home to haunt you. And there's an end, and to me, it's like I'm being shown, as more of the news comes out of her family's power ending, there will be more scrutiny also on, I think, past, and I don't know if they're going to look that far back. Would they bother? I think so. How long ago, okay. They got divorced in the 90s, right? So his tax returns go back, he's not, last 20 years? He hasn't paid taxes? I don't know if there's something that could come back up from the time that they were married. Let's just pull a couple extra cards. But I think these children, their children ended up becoming more like Dawn. They're similar to her too. I think she's similar, like I was saying, that she has similar thirst of ambition, love of a luxuriant lifestyle. And I think these kids are a combination of both of their parents. They're both of these, Ivana and Donald, have a lot alike. The difference is, I don't know if Ivana is as inhumanly cruel as Trump. We don't really know a lot about her as a person. I think there's a lot of it she keeps private, but she does, when she wants, she does like attention. I think she's extremely jealous that she couldn't and isn't on Donald's arm as the first lady. I think she can't get over that. But these children they're a composite of both of their parents, but with Donald's more criminal edge. And she's going to see the end, and she's seeing it now, because that's what it's beginning here. This is the now. And she feels like she is wanting to defend, I think, her family. And I think keep their secrets, cover up for them. She may be talking to her children privately. This is a karmic lifetime. I'm getting more than one lifetime with this family being together. Her and Donald and these children. But here, man, she ends up alone. And this is, I think, a source of anger to her. 4 of Wands. Yes. She still sees herself as the wife, as the queen, as the empress. And to the public, she still conveys herself that way. Absolutely loony. She may even, I don't know. I definitely think she's going to come out publicly and say some stuff with, as her family and her children, especially get more into legal trouble. There's a King of Wands who wants control. He's trying to keep. They may tell her to be quiet. Because this king wants, I see her being public, conveying public message. And this male here wants some kind of situation brought under control. Fiery temperament could be another aspect of Trump, but I see her Devil and Five of Pentacles. There's temptation for greed. She's scared that she's going to be on the outside and not have access to money. I think she's also concerned that her children will, I think, possibly go to prison. We have the bondage card here. We have temptation in the Devil. We also have the loss of finance and not having, kind of being a pariah, ostracized. And she definitely doesn't want that. One thing that this family, all his wives and definitely Ivana and her children, they want to be part of fitting into society. They do not want to be the pariahs. You know, they want acceptance. This will be very hard for them. And there's clarity that will come out here. I think there will come trouble for her children where they face issues with the money, the loans, the funny business with the campaign funds, other funds. Definitely grifting. Definitely grifting. And she definitely also, I get the message of her definitely having taught these children to fear being poor and so to grift. And Donald teaching the same thing. That is how they have ended up with the consciousness that they do have. And I also see them, this is not, they're going to be in trouble for their corruption with money, and they will not be living the same lifestyle. They will be out of the 1% club. That comes clear at the end of the day, further into the future. I tend to think that unless she's done, I hope that she hasn't been dependent upon finances from Trump all these years, because that's going to dry up. So I sure hope that she has some means of independent wealth established in investments or something if I were her, because this doesn't look good. Not at all. We show clarity. We show a card of undeniable fact. I think they'll be found guilty of corruption to do with finances, and their name is Mud. Wow, I didn't realize I'd gone on this long. Okay, so I'm going to end this out. That's how her children have ended up the way they have, because she and Trump are both very similar in certain ways, and it doesn't look good at the end of the day. This family, I'm shown again, will be held to account for corruption to do with finances and more. And it was the undoing of their family. And possibly for Ivana, if she's dependent on payments from him, she could see that dry up. So that she better get her hustle on. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for enduring this long video that flew by for me. I still want to look more at the children, but I think this answers enough for me at this point. And I hope you like the reading. Please remember to subscribe if you haven't, and thumbs up. Thank you so much. See you in the next video.